How are we doing today, Rob?
Did you have a listing off of Davis Road?
Uh-huh. Close to it, yeah.
Yeah, I live right over there, and I saw you guys sign, and then I pulled up the listing. Holy cow, they did a lot for that house.
It's a new house on an old foundation.
But it's under contract, right?
Yes, it is. We're having the second appraisal this morning. The first appraisal was absolutely the worst appraisal I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen some crappy ones.
What did it come in at?
650.
And what was the?
It's under contract for 790.
Yeah, you'll get one higher than that. 790 might be.
We had a DS Murphy free listing evaluation.
Oh, there you go.
And he went through that appraisal, and if there were 75 entries on the appraisal, 73 of them were wrong. So the
Good that
broker
you had that.
found a new lender, a new appraiser due any moment. And this one was probably,
Unbelievable house.
Yeah, it actually looks better inside than the picture showed.
It's a house over by my house. It's like a 70s, late 70s ranch on a basement, and they redid the entire thing. It's on a great lot, and it looks like it was built yesterday.
It's beautiful.
Is the guy a contractor or
No?
just hired it out?
Yeah, he and his wife designed it.
Uh-huh.
He should design houses. That's better than a lot
Yeah.
of those designs, yeah.
Are they family friends?
Friend for friend, you can't
Yeah.
do like referrals.
Yeah. That's awesome. Cool.
I hope the day goes better.
What's up? Oh, what's up?
A little bit early because I was with my dog.
How you doing, Nick? Good to see
It
you.
was wonderful. How's that one?
6. I was at 4, but 6 is really. Why were we up at 4? Sometimes I'm an early riser.
Oh, wow.
4 was a little
Or is
extreme
it
this morning.
Yeah, that's a little extreme.
Somewhere around 2, I'll be under my desk.
Did you log into it yet?
Yeah.
You're
I
good?
did.
Like,
Well, so what happened was when I
Lisa, how you
got-
doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
And I was like, you know,
Morning, how you
I'm
doing?
gonna text
Good.
you,
What's
I'm
the
gonna
code
text
you
you. And so the lady from Gibbard, yeah, so I used that email, so I couldn't use that one. And then Monday, I got a new one, and I started it
So if you
yesterday.
see anybody else advertising 72 sold in the zip code, let me know.
I'm gonna get at least 2 during the day, 2, like, you know, maybe 3.
You get up at 6 every day.
Hey, how you
Yeah,
doing?
I really do.
Good to see you.
It's just waking up early and driving.
Yeah.
Well, you having to wake up early and get dressed and.
You busier?
Come on,
No, I
Noah.
don't.
How you doing? How about you?
Hey, by the way, when you're doing that online,
Never busy enough, but this
Yeah, that's
one's
true.
Look at
there's
it.
some days I come
I'm glad
home
to hear
and I'm
that.
like,
A lot of people count, so,
when you get listings, it's easy to sell.
yeah. That's right.
Sometimes you just want to make it done.
The buyers that are paying.
So I went here.
Where are most of your listings? Are they around here or are they Decatur or?
It seems to vary, but you'll do 3 or 4 in Cumming, and 3 or 4 in Kennesaw, and 3 or 4 in Smyrna. So it's pretty much north of I-20.
Who is this person?
And mostly north of 35.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on.
We get
It gets better.
a lot of referrals, so we're all over the place.
Yeah, well, which is good, right?
We started, Carol started, the Decatur office at KW. Decatur is a pretty small community. the first buyer client that Kimberly, we went out to go, and I was the license rep.
I know, you got
No, I mean,
Building business.
my cousin does not look that long. I do mine in
They
head.
said they wanted,
but I was like,
said Decatur. Ten houses that might meet your needs.
do you have a problem with that?
Every single one of them, what they expect, what they like,
Yeah.
what they look
It's
for.
all wrinkled. She
You know,
goes,
and builders can do it.
going to the
You
gym,
can't do it.
just
anymore
grab
because
I hear that immediately,
One's
but
in
you know, I'm like,
Cumming,
oh, no, I
one's in
do it, so,
Smyrna,
yeah, I'm not in anybody
Douglas,
else's
Bill,
business
Grayson.
well, but yeah.
There's no way we
when
can
they
see
see it,
it.
I came back and drive.
Right.
You haven't seen it?
On Flow, I was watching when I saw something.
I was like,
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'll like put it on.
Oh, so you, okay.
Yeah, just. No.
you're like,
No, I just,
I could
I'm.
do that.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice because you can put it in a key ring or throw it in like a huge bag.
Or longer sometimes.
Maybe it's in the morning.
Yeah, it takes. Yeah.
Driving
I don't know, I
from
heard
And then the
you
blue
told me
ones that
an
are
hour and a half, hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Decatur
This side of the bed.
to Roswell, and he was
And then
supposed to
every
go
2
2
weeks,
hours.
right before the next
Wow.
Fight to get them over here.
Until then, he just write
Yeah.
it. They used to drive my.
I had noticed at night, it's still
Let it go.
just about as
And
bad.
also let it
What's
go.
up, man?
So we're in the process of moving, so we like had to
Yeah.
fire
There's
closet.
periods that it's very.
And so I came,
periods that-
well, no, not even a apartment, so I came
Dealing with
downstairs
all
and
the
folded in
issues
front of the
and all
fireplace, he goes,
workers,
here's my
you do
wardrobe
that,
for the
but
next 2
you
weeks.
see
And
houses
he just, I think it's whatever came out of the laundry, the last load of laundry,
You
he
know,
just kept it folded, and he just moved it
probably
from
from
the coffee
noon
table to the floor, and so I just lived on this, and the rest was closed.
So I go
Well,
to
yeah, I mean, it's
Cartersville.
really
Something.
so I'm like, oh, well, yeah, so every morning he comes downstairs,
Probably
like,
from the internet.
yeah,
I
changes
talked to an
fans.
agent yesterday, I was on the way to Cartersville.
Two, and then just
Yeah. Key box will drive.
so yeah, I was not.
Right, that's right. Good. So I'm glad y'all are having a great
Yeah,
week.
very sold out.
That's good.
Talk to anybody?
We're certain to make couple dollars and all that stuff.
There you go.
I never wanted to be the best, just do it.
I love it. How much?
You know, all I care about is trying to be my
Oh
best.
my gosh,
You
that's
know,
so great.
somebody else's
So, yeah, that's
better.
cool.
If I'm
The best for your life.
Every year.
If you don't get the sale,
Yeah, it's been around for
talk about you to other people.
well, because what happens is you stay in one place for so long, you will see what's like. We've been at the hospital.
That's why you're supposed to wear your badge.
Fred Smith. Was I supposed to bring it to you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you, I kept on waiting for you to come down. I'll serve you. Oh, I know. I was wanting to serve you.
We had the hot.
I'm doing well. How are you? Same here.
Like 350.
Well, guys, before we get started,
Half of our garage, like, that's
you can tell them it's 9 months.
And then it's so weird, because they're like, I know that's.
Some good news. All right, so I want to tell y'all something you don't know about. There's someone in this room right now that went to a football camp, participated this weekend. What would that be? All right, tell us about it.
It was great fun. It's just hanging out with the coaches and the coaches' wives and running plays and seeing footage of and the new facility. It's super fun.
It was all ladies.
All ladies, no men allowed, because they don't want the men to ask them about their plays and give them a hard time. They don't want any Monday morning quarterbacking, so they don't let men come.
How many years have you done this?
6 years. The
6
very
years you've
first
been
time
doing
I
this,
did
she
it.
plays football on the weekend.
It's great fun.
And it was fun, right?
Oh my gosh, so much fun.
All right, okay, guys, anybody else has some good news they want to share? Anybody here for the very first time? Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Yasmin. I just literally started the online class. So,
Starting online classes, yay?
yeah, so this is me kind of dipping my feet in the water.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Anybody? Yes, sir.
Hey, Jim, Stuart Courier. I'm new agent here at this office. I was a real estate agent back in the late nineties for about 3-4 years, and then got back into the restaurant business, which I was spent 25 years in. And just recently came out of construction from 2008 till now.
Wow.
Moving out of construction, phasing out of construction, phasing out. Not yet going back into real estate to take the next steps.
Which company were you with in the 90s?
I was with Remax. Remax Platinum over on Windy Hill and 41. Sandra Guy.
Who's the broker there?
Sandra Guy.
That's right, exactly right. In what restaurant group?
Yeah, well, I owned Dixie Tavern down in Buckhead, and then one on Windy Hill, and then I was part of the Atkins Park Restaurant Group, and I helped start Moe's Southwest Grill when they first got started.
Wow.
And those are the three mains, and those, the oldest, and the first one was Ducks. It was a restaurant on Far Road, across from the Atlanta Fish Market, a little Cajun restaurant, and that was back in '91.
I may have been there. I love the fish market, so I may have been there. Are you glad to be out of the restaurant business?
Yeah, I miss the social aspects of it, but that's about it. Yeah, I don't miss the other part of it.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here. Anybody else here for the first time? I need to introduce. Any other good news? Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Last Tuesday, I was late here to the meeting because my wife and I celebrated our 25th anniversary. And can you believe that some woman is as nice as she is to help with me?
Congratulations.
I'm a true Christian who's really personal.
Our 25th anniversary, we were in Banff, Canada. Who's been to Banff, Canada before? It is a spectacular place to go. It is gorgeous. In the Rockies, Canada, of course, and it's a spectacular place to go. So I was in Banff, Canada, and you were where? Here?
I was here.
I know.
We had dinner that night at Bacchanalia and highly recommend it.
If I don't you been Bacchanalia and Banff.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Banff.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that 25 in a row?
That is 25 contiguous. That's right.
This week, the second of having my 13-year-old grandsons with me, and that's an adventure. Getting them up in the morning, getting them out, and they don't kill each other is an adventure. So you parents, you have my sympathies, because it's a full-time job keeping them going. So, all right, let us move on. And Lon Thomas is here.
All right.
Lon.
Come on, I got a few things that my senior partner, Carrie Green, has instructed me to announce here. She couldn't be here when it's getting, we have 6 stellar affiliations now, so meetings and who what attorney goes to what, and where they're going is kind of a crazy thing. So she always likes to be here, but she needed to be somewhere else today. So she sent me a few things to announce, and one of them is in these CE classes, guys, we get extensive reviews that Cheryl's teaching. And we had 39 people at one 2 days ago in Rome, where we don't have a huge presence clearly up there. So Cheryl does a really good job, and that word's gotten out. But there's a 3-hour CE class here in this training room on June 21st, and it starts at 1 p.m., 1 to 4, and it's how to stay cool during closing madness. So I'm sure you'll see the flyers and stuff, and she'll, she does a great job. So I think we get a lot of good reviews about practicality and how she's able to relate to your day-to-day business and give you a lot of practical advice. So that's one thing. The other thing is on that same day, on June 21, we're going to do a big happy hour down at the Southern Gentleman in Buckhead, and that's one that has been attended by a number of brokerage people down there. I know Compass sends some people, and we'll have a group down there. And if you guys want to go, we're welcome for you to come. We've had some client agents come in the past to that, or who may do some work in Buckhead or down there. It's just a socializing type event. And in that vein, for those of you that are going to Austin in August, Mega Camp, I will be there. I usually go to that every year. Carrie will be there. I think actually another attorney in our firm, maybe 2 even, are coming. But we're going to do a big event, and you guys know we always do good events. And we We firmed it up yesterday, over at the W Hotel where we've been a lot, but it's gonna be on the 14th, the night before the Rawls dinner. And you're gonna be getting some emails about it. That's a great place, cause we'll have, you know, 75 to 100 people there. It's a great place to network, co-op, meet some other people. And again, it's the night before the Rawls group dinner. So keep that in mind if you're going out there for that, because we will be there, and it's always a good time. So other than that, thank you guys for your, I'm gonna go down here right now because of six to 8 paragraph emails I got from Quan agents this morning about some scenarios that I completely understand why you're asking all these questions. So keep them coming, and we're here to facilitate and help you guys with your deals. So thank you.
Mine's even willing, if you're having a closing, that you have a question about a different firm, if you would call
Oh,
me and
yeah,
say, what do
always.
you think about that, guys? He's one of the few attorneys that will give you his cell number, so guys, just take it.
Reach out to me whenever my cell number's on everything, all the cards, emails, whatever. Feel free to reach out to me. So thank you guys.
Shockey Electric, come on up.
I read.
Nope, Shockey Electric, come on up. Team leader. I go to move things around once in a while.
Morning,
I'll tell you
everybody.
what, Shockey Electric.
Morning.
Good morning.
Wanted to talk to y'all about a couple things. We've been the preferred vendor here for a while. Just some things we see in inspection reports that sometimes get missed just to help your buyers, sometimes your sellers out. More often your buyers. There's recall panels, I guess you guys are familiar with. The Federal Pacific's been known for a while. What I see a lot in this area is Sylvania Challenger panels. They'll say Sylvania on the outside, Challenger on the inside. They're a recall fire hazard panel. Some home inspectors spot them, some don't. So I've been to different spots behind home inspectors, and sometimes they get called out, sometimes they don't. And they're easy to see. You just look for that brand name when you're out there with your customer. It can help your seller too, because sometimes going ahead and getting that changed before the buyer gets a chance to complain about it can be helpful too, because it may put some buyers off. Plus, there's a ton of stuff we do for home inspections. So you got a seller that wants to get ahead of that, so that they're not dealing with that and the mad rush of closing and stuff. We can get out there and find all the stuff home inspectors find and go ahead and repair them. Because it's the same stuff generally. They go around with their plug-in tester, look for open boxes, call out the panel if they know what they're looking for. And we can kind of go through and do all that ahead of time.
So what is the top 1 or 2 things that you see when you go into homes pretty regularly that you think, ooh, that's probably a problem? As master electrician, by the way, guys, but what do you see? Do you think, well, here's something we always look for, is typically there in most homes, particularly older homes?
The GFIs aren't what they're supposed to be.
Tell what that means.
They're supposed to be GFI protection in all wet locations, which would be kitchen, garage, outdoors, laundry if there's outlets there, and any unfinished basement. And a lot of times stuff gets added over the years in older homes and may have not been done correctly. And that's kind of the small stuff that you can get ahead of, you got to deal with later. Because in all those home sales, they want a licensed electrician to fix it. So they can't have anybody who's gonna fix it. So it's something you can get ahead of.
How expensive is it to add this to our home? Yeah, how expensive is it, yeah?
It just depends, but we do free quotes, so it just depends on how much stuff there is. If there's more stuff, we can bundle it together. If there's a panel change, a lot of times we can work some of the stuff into that. But it just kind of depends on the per case basis, it's all different. Especially for home inspection stuff, but if it's just 1 or 2 GFIs, we got a main call at 275. And that'll cover that, but most of the time, they tell me, I guess you guys know, 5 to 10 items that they don't like and want to get sorted before the
Yes, sir, Rob.
One of the things that I see called upon a lot by home inspectors is, and they'll say it this way, is that a newer panel box that could have some double taps, right? And double taps are allowed in certain boxes, but the consumer sees it and they're like, oh my God, it's double tapped, it's gonna, have to, and you try to calm them down. So what is the rule of thumb on that?
The rule technically is you're not supposed to have 2 wires on a breaker.
Correct.
But the home inspectors don't know, most manufacturers say you can have 2 to 3 of the same wire under a neutral or ground mode. And that's still the case today in a brand new panel. I've talked to the home inspectors about this. They refuse to listen to me on this topic, but it's not technically a problem, but they're all gonna call that.
But if it's a 1980s remodel or something like that, those older boxes, you probably don't want those.
And there's a lot of recall boxes around here. There's a ton of those Challenger panels, Sylvania panels, and an 80 home. Check the Federal Pacific and the Zinsco. And Sylvania and Zinsco are kind of the same thing, but if you look after those four names, they're generally right on the panel. And it's something you can spot on your first visit to like a client's house.
So to give you guys an idea, I had one about a year ago. It had the Federal Pacific panel, and they had smoke detectors. And then all of a sudden, you pull that box, you have to put a new box. And those smoke detectors now, since you pull a permit, right? Each one has to be hardwired into the box.
Yeah.
And
they gotta
if
be
you've got
connected.
like an old 70s, 80s ranch, right, that a hallway that's got 3 bedrooms off of it, and if you have 2 doors right here, one is not by code. You have to put,
There's gotta be one in every bedroom now.
yes.
One carbon.
So that really gets the price up if you're not thinking about that.
It can in scenarios, and in some places, like if they've got a disconnect outside, we can change a panel for your customer without getting involved.
Okay. Perfect.
Some scenarios we have to involve the council.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the reason for the change with having 3 smoke detectors in the room as opposed to one outside?
Actually a building code thing, and they expect us to enforce it. It's not even an electrical code thing. But if you do any kind of permitted work inside a home in Cobb County, they will need to put smoke detectors in there too. If you're
Hardwired, not
hardwired
the battery.
smoke detector. It gets weird, and that's if you're adding an outlet inside. Remodeling a kitchen, anything, no one. There is a stipulation for changing the panel without the smoke detectors, or for panels in a basement and an unfinished space. The county won't require you to do smoke detector. It's only if you modify the living. So there's a couple stipulations.
I would tell you, just remember that inspectors are not master electricians. They don't understand it, go all the way people do. These guys are the best of the best. If you have a question, call them and say, here's what we're being told, what do you think? And they will tell you what the actual the inspector always know, right?
Another fresh thing in the home inspection reports I'm seeing, which is a little infuriating, they start calling out arc fault and GFCI breakers. And that's a code of the day, and they're explaining about codes today, whereas the house is only obligated to the code of the year it was built.
Or updated?
So they start throwing that in there, and they usually don't say you have to do it, it's just probably a hiccup for everybody because they plant that seed in your customer's head, like this is a thing they have now. And they don't really say you have to fix it, they just plant that seed there, and you kind of got to fight with your buyer and seller about that, because it's not really required. If they want it, you got to kind of see where you fall on that.
There's something wonderful about saying, I talked to a master electrician and he says it's not required. End of case, next.
And then an inspector will tell you the same thing. No inspector, like if you did a job, would require you to bring all this stuff to code, because he knows it's not
You want any other
an
questions?
electrical inspector.
We have a question back here, and then up here.
Do you, go any commercial business? Yes, we're unrestricted, so we can get anything from us.
And they go there.
Just wanted to comment that Kirsten knows what he's doing, he can trust his work.
Yeah, and we got a lifetime waiver on our stuff, and that's transferable to the buyer if we're doing stuff with stuff.
I call them, because they know what they're doing, and get an opinion from somebody and say, I'm a master electrician, I know what I'm doing, here's the answer. Anybody else? Anybody else, any other questions? Can we take them for breakfast also?
I wish I got up here more, like I said.
How busy are you guys for like, you know, some easy stuff like GFCIs and stuff like that?
Generally, you can get us in a day or two, no more than a week.
Okay, awesome.
You know, if there's something small, but yeah, we get stuff done, you know, and if you've got an emergency situation, you know, holding up a closing, I can work with you on stuff like that.
Okay, awesome.
Well, thank you guys, thank you for breakfast.
Thank
No worries, guys.
Thank
You also should appreciate some
Good to
drugs.
see you going. No, don't talk as much next time. Thank you, guys. All right.
Thank you.
Hey guys, so I asked Reed to come to, and so we'll look at time, because, if I ask you right now, when we're gonna go to 5.5%, who thinks 5.5% mortgage rates are gonna happen in the next 6 to 8 weeks? Who thinks that? Who thinks that we'll be at 5.5% more, let's say 5.9, in the next 4 to 6 weeks? Anybody think that?
I think it's possible.
It is possible. It is possible. That's what I-
And we refer back to the contract that says we're not experts at anything except buying
paper.
and helping them to buy and sell real estate. So we don't talk about rates and electric bill and
Inflation.
all of that stuff, yes.
It's cool. So Reed, come on up and tell us what your crystal ball says today.
Inflation.
That won't take long.
That's right.
It was a good.
Foggy and cracked. Yes, like the old guy that says, tell us everything you know. And he says, okay, it'll take about 15 seconds, right? Before I leave, y'all, don't let me forget, I'm gonna do a drawing, for this flower arrangement. My daughter is a flower arrangement business, and she's really good at it. And, I hope you guys will keep her in mind when we get some flowers.
He's terrible at this. His daughter is not really good at it. She is exceptionally good at it. Some of the prettiest flowers I've seen, I like to give nice flowers, guys.
Yeah.
And they're about half the price of the other ones, and so she is well worth the phone call. Well worth the phone call.
What's the company name, Rick?
Hawk Hill Flowers,
What hill?
Hawk Hill, HAWKHILL. Thank you. So guys, I'm Reed with Silverton. Danielle is taking some much needed time off, and there's Heather who keeps the whole ship afloat back there. And so this afternoon is the June, right now, the Federal Reserve board is meeting, as they do, and they're gonna make their announcement at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So what's been happening over the last, probably almost 3/4 of a year, I guess since last fall, is they've been raising rates. Now, does anybody know what rates the Fed raises when they raise rates?
Bank
to
discount
bank.
rate?
It's the Fed funds rate. It's the bank to bank rate. Really, it's overnight money. So if your balance sheet is out of balance at the end of the day in your bank, you either have to get rid of some money or you have to get some money in, one way or the other. And the way you get money in is you pull it from the Federal Reserve, so you're basically borrowing from other banks. So that's the interest rate that the Federal Reserve toys with. Now, is that a direct correlation to mortgage rates? No, but it does have an effect. So there's something this afternoon, there's 2 words that people are looking for specifically this afternoon when the Fed makes their announcement. Will they say, like for right now, are they going to skip? Or are they gonna pause raising rates? You wouldn't think there's that much difference between those 2 words, but there really is. Skip means that we're still we're gonna raise rates mode, but we're just not gonna raise it this month. Pause means that they've seen enough signs in the economy that inflation is slowing down, that they're going to put that rate hike regimen on pause for right now and wait and see. Most people think it's gonna be a skip, that they're gonna say, we're gonna skip raising rates. That's really not gonna change things too much because the Fed still say we're in a mindset that inflation is not under control and we're gonna have to keep raising Fed funds rates. Now, why is inflation the elephant in the room? So government securities, bonds, and mortgages are long-term investments. 30-year bonds, 30-year Fannie Mae bonds, 10-year government bonds, whatever it is, and the government is borrowing a lot of money, and they have been for a long time. So what happens if Rusty purchases an investment that's supposed to yield to him 5%? Rusty says, I'm cool with that. I'm gonna give my $1 jillion that Rusty has, and I'm gonna invest in this asset that's gonna return 5% to me.
Yeah.
But then Rusty wakes up one morning and sees the news headline and says, well, wait a minute. Inflation, they say inflation's running at 5.5%. That means that down the road, my 5% return is not gonna be 5%. It's gonna be eroded because of inflation. It's gonna be worth less. Rusty says, I'm not investing my $1 jillion at 5%. I need 8% to compensate for the erosion that's gonna happen for inflation. That's why you see rates going up. Because the future value of, there's two reasons that mortgage-backed securities are tough investments right now. That's one of them, is that in the future, it's not gonna be worth as much if inflation keeps up. The other reason is that one of the values, the biggest value of mortgage-backed securities is the long-term gain from receiving those payments every month. I think we call it service release premium, SRP is what's called. So like when Supreme or Silverton, if we're servicing a loan, part of the value of that loan is we're gonna get to collect the payments for all this time, and the aggregate of that amount, we can earn a little bit of money on. But guess what? If the rate on that mortgage is 7.5%, how long do you think I'm gonna get to collect the interest on that loan? They're probably gonna get a chance to refi when rates come down. So the value of the servicing on those loans is really totally up in the air, and the likelihood is that rates are gonna come down in the future, and Supreme or Silverton or whoever, Bank of America, whoever it is, Wells Fargo, they're only gonna get to collect that interest for a year and a half, 2 years. So that means they're not paying any premium. That's why your clients right now, it's hard for them to take a higher interest rate and have some of their closing costs covered, because there's not any money being paid for the servicing on those loans. As a matter of fact, last year, the statement was made, I think it was actually even through the first quarter of this year, most mortgage companies are losing about $500 per loan.
Oh, wow.
Don't, make sure you hear, say it one more time. Say it one more time.
Most mortgage companies, that part?
That part, yes.
Most mortgage companies are losing about $500 per loan when you take all the costs that go into doing a mortgage loan. That's what's going on right now. Now, thankfully, you have two companies in here that are well capitalized, and you're not in any danger of that sort of thing. So, all right, now, and then supply and demand. Right now, I read an article the other day that said that once the debt ceiling debacle was resolved, the government had to jump back in and start borrowing more money because they had to kind of recapitalize a lot of accounts. I read that there's about $1 trillion worth of government paper that's hitting the market right now. Has anybody seen that?
Wow.
Seen that? That's a lot. So they're competing with people who would buy mortgage-backed securities. Bond investors are going to buy one of those two things in general. So there's a lot of supply out there right now. Now, a lot of demand for mortgage-backed securities. So the sheet that you have on your paper, this is the projection by the Mortgage Bankers Association of what's going to happen with interest rates. So if you look in the middle under interest rates where it says 30-year fixed rate mortgages, you see all in the right, over toward the right, 2022, they're saying that last year the average was 6.6%. They're saying for 2023 that it's going to get down to 5.6% before the end of the year. So we've got a ways to go, but they still believe that that's going to happen. That means that they believe that the Federal Reserve is going to get inflation under control. Some of that long-term risk is going to go away, and so they don't have to demand as much for the mortgage-backed securities. They're saying 4.8 in 2024 and 4.5 in 2025. Now, guys, there are a ton of variables that could affect this. A million variables that could affect this. Listen, if the thing with Russia and Ukraine escalates, who knows, right? We don't know. We don't know what rates are going to do, but that's the best guess. Rates have hovered, like last fall, we saw rates get into the low sevens, 7.25, 7 3/8, and this is on primary residences for people with good credit. Then we saw early this year, in late January, we saw rates get down to where we did a few loans at 5.875, things like that. Now they've eased back up. We're looking between 6.5 and I haven't done anybody's loan at 7 again since we've last fall, but it's getting close. But again, it's kind of, that seems to be the range where things are and have been there. So do you have those other screenshots? I was going to show you guys. This is interesting. I find it interesting. You might not. Yeah, let me turn the light on. This is the overnight pricing. This is our overnight rates last night. Now I'll tell you what this is. This is a $600,000 purchase with a 15% down payment and a 780 credit score. Okay? Now, I want to tell you what the differences are. This guy on the right has an income that's, say he lives in Sandy Springs, the area median income there is, I think, $93,700, something like that. This guy is under that. So he is getting that benefit that we told you guys about, those loan level price adjustments. We told you about that a few weeks ago, how the government was removing some of the adjustments for people that were under certain income limits. You'll see here that it does make an effect. So right now, like if somebody had locked a rate last night at 6.875, they would have paid $531 in points. That probably was worth it. To get here, to get to 6.75, they would have had to pay $2,000, half a point. Now, here's what's weird about the way the rate sheets have been. They pay more for 6.75 than they would 6.625. Have y'all seen that sort of thing on the rate sheets? It's like, it doesn't really make sense sometimes why certain coupons are paying different than they are. So this is why your loan officer's got to be careful when he's pricing out a loan, because you may see odd things like this. So in general, last night, a guy who was making $150,000 a year, $200,000 a year on a $600,000 purchase with 15% down and a 780 credit score, he was going to probably be at 6.875 without paying. That's nominal. That's a nominal amount of points, an eighth of a point. But look at this guy. This is the guy who makes $90,000 a year who can still qualify for that loan. He can get 6.625 with no points. So he's going to be a quarter of a point interest rate just because of his income was 90,000 instead of 95,000. That is the difference that those adjustments have made. And then, and like, look at this. So this rate costs, but the lower rate doesn't. It's odd, very odd situation right now. So just to give you an idea, this is where rates were last night. I actually pulled this morning, so it was still overnight pricing. 6.625 if you were under the area median income limit, and 6.875 for somebody that was over that limit. That gives you an idea of where rates are. So what's going to happen in the future? The Mortgage Bankers Association says the rates are going to come down later this year. And I would think, apart from any cataclysmic events, the way things seem to be trending, that's probably accurate.
So normally the rule of thumb is, because I know you guys and Supreme are always talking about, hey, get the best you can now and, date that rate and then refinance. Usually you want to see 1 to 1.5 point difference, right, before you refinance. So even if we get to 5.6, is that a viable refinance for a consumer?
So, and I'm sure the guys would agree with me on this, that was a rule of thumb that a lot of people used for years, but it doesn't, and I think it probably was more accurate when the average mortgage was $150,000, $180,000, $200,000. Now, when you're like this
$600,000,
exactly.
Yeah.
Look at the difference. This is the principal and interest payment at 6.99%, $2,824. Well, if the rate drops to 6.49, it's $2,683. So we're talking about $140 a month, basically. I mean, that could be worth it.
Okay.
And that's a half a point in interest rate. It really is kind of that case by case. I mean, the bigger the loan, the smaller the interest rate change has to be for it to make sense. And we're doing a program right now, Heather has blasted this to you guys, where if anybody needs to refi within 3 years, a loan that we close, we do it with no lender fees and no appraisal costs. So that's a $2,000 savings on the mortgage. Yes, ma'am.
So, if someone refis, and the value's gone up, can they drop the PMI?
Theoretically, yes. Yeah, because it's a whole new loan. And if the value has increased enough so that they have 20% equity, yes, they would get rid of PMI.
So,
With the you mean with a refi? Yeah. Without? No, without.
With.
Yeah, with, yes. Mhm.
So for example, if you have a client, you approve it today, and since the inventory is still low and it's taking a long time to find in the home, so are you constantly reviewing that loan for the client because it could be moved up or down? It depends on what the courts.
Well, if there's a big enough move in the rates, yeah, we do keep an eye on that. If somebody's right at, like, for example, if we pre-approved them for a conventional loan and they're at 49.5 debt to income ratio, well, they can't go up, well, they can technically go up to about 51. We just have to switch it from Fannie Mae to Freddie Mac, because Freddie Mac will allow you to go over 50% sometimes. But in general, we have to keep an eye on that. If the debt to income ratio is really tight and rates do go up, yeah, we have to really keep an eye on that. That's a great question.
Any other questions? That's why in this market, make sure that you're talking to a lender that knows what the heck we're talking about. It's very important. Make sure you know the person you're talking to, because they could be idiots and still out there being loan officers. And so just make sure that you call one of our good ones, because they know what they're talking about. Because getting through this process right now is difficult at best. It requires a lender that knows what they're saying, that they can deliver closing. The lender online can tell you anything up front that they can change. So, any other questions you all?
Let me give you a quick example, just a quick story. This is really true. It's a client that was referred, I don't remember where this client came from. Oh, yes, I do. I do. It was an agent in this office. And it was like, we've got to do a conventional loan. We can't get them under contract, FHA. We've got to do conventional. She's a traveling nurse. We had gathered all the documentation. We sent it through underwriting 3 times. Every time she got a new pay stub, we sent it back through underwriting again, because we're trying to get the income up. And she was at a 51, 52 debt to income ratio. We couldn't get a conventional approval. Well, guess what? Yesterday, she goes to a new home subdivision, and the builder is buying down the interest rate with the preferred lender. Now, it just so happens that the preferred lender was Silverton, but not me, so whatever. That's okay, it is what it is, right? But they bought the interest rate down to 4.99%. Well, guess what? Now she can qualify for a conventional loan. But that does tell you the difference that the interest rates can make for somebody. She was gonna have to go FHA, now she can go conventional with that interest rate. Yes, ma'am.
I've seen some builders and some agents market a lower interest rate. How are they able to do that? So how was she able to go to 4.9 versus what you had?
Because that's really smart, guys. As bad as I hate it, it really is smart on the part of the builders. Because they've got 2 choices to help get people into homes. They can either lower the prices, which is gonna hurt them in the future, and it's gonna make everybody mad who bought last year, right? Or they can offer incentives. And that particular incentive, they're saying they're giving $20,000 to buy the interest rate down for the client.
But held price.
Huh?
But held price.
But held the prices on the home the same. So, I mean, as bad as I don't like it because I don't get to do the business, it is actually a really good thing for the builder, and it's a really good thing for the client. So we happily, somewhat happily, transferred the file over to the loan officer that's assigned to that account. But
so the builder is buying down a rate to that lower rate?
Well, what they actually did, that builder is owned by our parent company also. So they actually bought a whole block of money at 4.99 that's like $20-30 million worth of.
So like Costco.
Yeah.
Builder.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Are you all? Other questions? That's a great question.
I have a question, but I don't know if it is a lender's question or not. So, because what I have seen, I have these clients, right? So they wanted to buy a house, and they said, we prefer now a newer home. So for the money that they have. But the newer home is smaller, it's just new, but it's more expensive. And then there is, the formal, so they were trying to ask me, how come this bigger, older home that is in good shape is almost the same price as this smaller home that is new? And why is my lender allowing me to buy this instead of this? I don't know, it was some kind of question like that. So I just do not understand when you do the concept, and how can you compare an old bigger home with a small new home to get the loan?
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily, they might not necessarily be good comps.
Right.
Because if there's enough difference in the square footage, it's not a good comp.
Right.
And when you talk about new construction versus a house 40 years old, it's not a good comp. There's gonna have to be some pretty significant adjustments on something like that. And if the adjustments are big enough, the appraisal's not really valid. So, I mean, you're gonna try to do newer construction, you're gonna try to do new construction in the same subdivision. And if those houses are sold, that's gonna trump everything else. I mean, if there's 50 houses, 30 houses, 20 houses that have already sold in that subdivision, you know, in the last year, those are your comps. And it doesn't matter what the guy across the street,
Pay for the house.
it doesn't matter.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah. So guys, if y'all have a business card, put it in here and we'll do a drawing.
I'd like to say I sent that flyer for the rate drop protection, the offer extended last week. If you guys didn't get it or need me to resend it or co-brand it for you, I'm happy to do so. So just let me know.
So I'll be like Vanna.
I want. So pretty.
And everybody, these are sunscreens.
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
like, highlighters, no, pen, no, they're
Those
sunscreens.
sunscreens.
You just pop the cap and screw it.
Don't unscrew it.
Don't unscrew it.
I did too. Reed, does she
No, next time.
deliver? Is there a delivery service?
Yeah, it depends on where it is. She doesn't want to, in
You need to write
What's the
it.
rate?
Marietta, Cherokee, Cobb, Forsyth, probably.
Easy pickup too.
Ma'am?
Easy pickup too.
Oh, yes, Virginia ordered some for 3 of her clients. I hope they like them.
They love them, and they were beautiful, and I picked them up and delivered, so I was the hero.
You were.
While they're grabbing cards, so let's go to our street, we wanna do with flowers. Our agent highlight, let's see what we have right now. Jeff Hart. That's right. Jeff Hart, previous occupation, enterprise software sales. Joined KW because the agents and the staff and the team leader are the best ever. Oh, simply the best, I'm sorry. Our office has the best culture, people, and leadership. 21 years in mortgage banking. Interesting fact, I got my pilot's license 2 weeks after I turned 17.
Wow.
Oh my God, 17 him in the year. That's a scary one. All right, Reed, how about the flowers?
All right. Kimberly.
You can
I just have to verify that it's,
Alex.
that's right. Now, if she pulls it out and says, doesn't look at it, says, Kimberly.
Karen.
Oh.
Look on the back.
It might be hers.
Cause I use hers.
She borrowed one of my cards.
It's true, it's a fact.
That is what our culture does here. That's right. Anyway, Jeff, we love having you on our team, and Reed, Heather, thank you all so much. Good job. All right, next agent highlight. Reed Clark. All right.
Hey, mortgage buddies.
And by the way, guys, they've both been here just about the same amount of time, longer than I've been here. How many of you been here, Reed?
Right about 6 months before you got here, or a year before you got here.
More than 12 years.
Yes.
And Jeff?
Since the end of 2004.
Wow, a long time. So they've been with us a long time, guys. Take nice care of us. Anyway, Reed, previous occupation, he was a pastor for 9 years and a seminary for 3 years before that. Joined KW because previous LOs got out of the business in 2011, opened up an opportunity for me. So I'm very glad he's here. In mortgage for 18 years. Interesting fact, my family says I have 3 alter egos: Real Steel, Freebird, and RC Hammer. All right.
RC Hammer, yep. I got that one after my son's car died, and I went to see him where he was, and he told me what happened. He had run it out of gas, and so I knew that the fuel pump was stuck. And in his car, the fuel pump access is under the back seat. I pulled the back seat up and took a hammer and pounded on it and said, "Crank it." It didn't crank. So I was a hero for that.
Guys, we love our mortgage partners here. We love them. I've been here for a long time, so thank you all. And Heather, thank you for being here and keeping Reed straight.
I was just about to say, I've been with Reed for 6 years, 7 in March, and I'm very happy,
She's great.
We should be,
100%.
but we're in prayer for you daily though. All right, guys, moving on. Couple more things. Power hour, script practice. Guys, this is so important. And it's like people like come in 2 or 3 people. Guys, this is so important to know what to say to a customer you talk to. You don't say anything about it at all?
Everybody should be there. You know, there's something different each week, and it's how to have effective conversations with your buyers and sellers and prospects, because every situation is different, and you really have to be, bold in what you know, so, and how to deliver that.
Cool. That's every Wednesday, guys, 9 to 10 script practice, 10 to 11 lead gen. Imagine doing script practice and then actually using what you just learned. So guys, please come on Wednesday. It is a powerful hour. Group coaching, working with constructions. Wednesday, June 14th from 11 to 12 with Magdalena. So guys, you don't say anything about that at all? Guys, anyway, guys, Magdalena is just incredible, guys. Please come out and just learn, because new construction is going to be part of your future, because they're building more and more houses right now. So just realize that. So please come out and listen to this Wednesday, June the 14th, which is tomorrow, from 11 until 12, guys. Part of our continuing daily group coaching. ALC meeting, guys, you are invited every single month at the ALC meeting. Tomorrow it's at 11:30 to 1 here in the training room. You're welcome to sit in, see what's going on with the office, and that we're still profitable. Does anybody know why it's important to know why this office is profitable or not?
It's leadership.
Because years ago, when I said the name of the company, don't say anything, but the company all of a sudden went out of business. And the money that was coming in, the loans closing, the court said that money belongs to us. So they took the agent's hard-earned money and they gave it to a creditor because the office did not pay their bills. So when Kelly got started, we want to make sure y'all are aware we probably have money in the bank and we can pay our bills. Because guys, if you can't pay your bills, guess where that money goes to? It goes to creditors rather than to you, and they can take your money because the money belongs to who first? The broker. Belongs to the broker first. And then we share it with you guys. So just realize it's very important for you to know that where you are, the office is profitable. Guys, a lot of offices out there right now, I'm telling you, they're not profitable right now. A lot of them. So I'm Keller Williams. So just realize, guys, that being profitable means that you're not going to be in a situation where I say, sorry, Shelly, we owe that money to our plumber. Next. Tomorrow, 11:31, Jim's top 20%. Hey guys, once a month, sometimes every other month, I have a top 20% mastermind. It's for the people that are in my top 20%. But if you're hearing my voice right now, you want to come to this tomorrow, you are invited because you came to team meeting today.
Thursday.
Thursday, I'm sorry, Thursday, exactly right, Shel. Thursday, please come, and we're gonna have John Ellinger, Ro Coleman, who I know Rashawn is in my downline, of course, I'll be there also, and we're gonna be talking about building generational wealth through real estate. And probably a couple other discussions also. June the 15th, 11 to 12:30, guys. If you don't know who John Ellinger is, you need to come find out, because John bought his first rental house when he was 19 years old and been buying stuff since. So guys, come listen to him and how you can grow generationally. Because guys, if you don't come and think about this and learn how to do this, then you are not building wealth for your family. And one of these days, you may want to stop selling real estate. Another way to build wealth is what? 401k. What does that mean? Wrong shirt. I'm dark getting dressed this morning. Anyway, guys, very seriously on that, guys, there's a way if you refer agents to us and they come in and they sell real estate that you get to share in that profit. Last year, Cohen's shared $145 million with their agents. So you may want to come hear about how you can build that downline and have residual income coming in. So anyway, that is June 15th, Thursday at 11 o'clock here in the training. Is it here or downstairs? Here, okay, all right. Command happy hour, guys. This is just something you should be doing. If you're not on command right now, guys, you are leaving money on the table because there's so much you can do there that you're not even aware of. So get on there with Kevin Jackson. He'll help you get your command up and running. And so, guys, do that. He does that for free. And just realize that's also Thursday, June the 15th, from 5 to 6. And you can bring your favorite beverage online and meet with Kevin.
So Jim, I
Yes.
have a question. If I'm a brand new agent, does everybody know what his command?
Anybody know what command is? Anybody? been in this training room, you should know what command is. So that's coming. All right, lessons learned.
So yesterday, I was thinking about going to Home Depot and finding a revolving door to put in my office, because yesterday was one of those days. So in picking something to talk about, had an agent in my office was freaking out, right? Yesterday was the end of due diligence. She got the inspection, sent them the ATAC at 11 o'clock yesterday. Okay. And she came in my office 2 o'clock. I haven't heard anything yet. Okay, so your emergency and you waiting to the end, right? That other agent, we had a conversation. Think about that other agent. You sent it at 11. They've been showing a property, right? Going to lunch, and that agent, if you are representing the seller, what do you do with the ATAC? Is it the agent that's making the decision? No. So you have to run down your client and get all this information. So, but she was like, I don't want to lose my people's earnest money and everything. So what's one way to protect your client's earnest money if you are running up against the deadline? Without extending. Because you can't talk to anybody.
Fill out the termination and have it on hand.
Send both over.
Thank you. To experienced agents, right? So what I let her know is you could send an email with the termination and put the wording in lieu of, right? Your client's not signing the ATAC as delivered. Here is our termination if those terms don't come to fruition. Okay? So.
What about sending it the day before? Needless to say.
They had, she couldn't. It was a trading issue, right? Because she, in her defense, she was like, well, we didn't get the radon back. I'm like, okay, but you had everything else.
Yes, right.
And you could have sent that and say, listen, I might amend this with radon.
That's 100% buyer's agent. I look at it like that as a listing agent, then you should have, give it to me. Let's my seller,
That's why
please
this
just
is
start
called
to buy.
lessons learned.
Right, let my seller bite whatever bite, don't send it to me last minute.
Not a brand new agent.
No.
Okay, so, two things. One, she was mad that she's not being heard back from. And, I gave her a couple of scenarios, or maybe someone's sick in her family, she's at a hospital, or, everybody in real estate has a life, right? They're just not sitting there waiting for it to send it right back and everything, right? Usually if you hear back within a day, that's good. If it's the last day, protect yourself and your client, right? That's not saying you're not going to get the ATAC done. It's saying in lieu of, right?
And if you are sending the bulk of it over prior to getting your radon back, you can do that in an email format and not do it on the ATAC, because if they sign that ATAC and you check the box due diligence ends and radon comes back bad, you're done. So you send over the request in an email and say, we'll put this on a formal ATAC as soon as we have the radon results, but here's the bulk of what we're looking for.
Or you can also do the ATAC.
Without, with your
put on it,
diligence continuing.
right, and write another amendment to say, hey, the radon will be extended, until the day off.
It's so interesting to hear from someone that does a ton of listings and is like, what are you doing to me, right? Because you're tying the other person. It's supposed to be a co-op, right? And she had some issues with this lady. She doesn't like her and everything. I'm like, none of that matters. None of that matters.
You mean with the other agents?
Yeah, I don't care if you don't like them or not. We're just going to get
We're representing our clients. We got to make it work.
Right. So get out of your own way. And a lot of the things that I was dealing with yesterday, really the theme of yesterday was communication.
So I have a really great one. and I know what I did. But answer this, so what happens when they send you the ATAC after these residents has been? Do I have any obligation, I know what I did, to say, hey, my client, my seller, here it is, but you don't have to respond.
So here's the deal. If they sign that, and it's after the due diligence period, the ATAC doesn't say when, right? It doesn't say, this is being presented to you during the due diligence period. Now, your due diligence is over, and that seller still might do those things. You get lucky, right? Have I done that before? Yes. With an inexperienced agent and they start doing all this, you can get through it. Not everybody is in training, in sales meetings, and as proficient as most of us are. So I use an example of another company out there. So everyone's familiar with EXP, there's a big push on EXP right now. You're an EXP agent, do you get to be in a room like this?
No, they're online.
virtual.
It's
All
virtual.
virtual,
That's
right?
100%.
So yesterday, it was funny, I called her last night at 6:30 and everything worked out, right? And here's what she said, she goes, this office is so awesome. She spoke to Libby, she spoke to Rusty, she spoke to Amanda. And she, I mean, it sounds like she was looking for an answer that she was not getting,
Right.
right? And then she came to
Right.
me and she got the answer that, you know, here's the deal, you just gotta do it this way. But the great part about it is in our office, we believe this culture, right, of giving to others and helping others out. That comes all the way down to, we're one of the top offices for profit share, right? Do you know what that is? It's because people stay here, right? The culture is about doing business and everything. Jim and I get referrals all the time from, there's some agents that's the only thing they do, they don't sell houses, they just recruit, right? And we get these calls all the time, because if I'm gonna recruit someone, do I want them to go in an office that's not profitable or a profitable office? Profitable, so you can get your check, right? So we have a lot of things going on here that you don't think about every single day, and you don't know how lucky you are until maybe you're in other situations, you look at other people. We're really blessed, we really are. So, that's it for the day.
Thank you, Rob. By the way, isn't Rob a Jew? Isn't he? So, guys, so this office is amazing. And I'm gonna tell you this for a reason. So right now, in Metro Atlanta, I search all offices. I don't pick the ones I want. All sales through a place called Broker Metrics. End of last year, our office was #1 in productivity for all of Keller Williams Metro Atlanta. Even though we're not one of the largest offices. Now, let's have a hand for that. Shelley's gonna look at me and say, well, she let me. I don't really care about that. Why should you care about that? You're in the most productive office in Metro Atlanta, other than profit share. Why should you care? How's that help you?
Income.
What?
Income.
Income, I like that, okay. All right, income, what else?
Brand recognition.
Say it again?
Brand recognition.
Tell me what you mean by that.
I will talk to a lot of people who, when I say I'm with Keller Williams, they're like, oh, okay. I did my last closing with them, or my cousin closed with them, and you guys are a good company.
I like that a lot. Why else would you care? Yes, ma'am.
Resources to tap into if you're having a hard time.
Ooh,
That
ooh.
right there, that's it.
I think that's huge.
That's huge. If I'm here and I'm struggling, I love you, Jim. I could care less that you're #1. I'm struggling. I don't know how to pay my rent. What she just said, that's it. Maybe I can go to that team meeting and grab an idea and go make a phone call. Maybe I can come into the scripts practice and hear a script and go pick up the phone and make a phone call, and boom, I have a listing. right? Now I know for sure that, you know, price right, smell good, it's gonna close, I'm gonna make some money. So it's the resources that's in this office and the fact that we willingly share so much of it, so, boom, you got it.
It's me.
Mindset,
Say it again one more time.
mindset.
Tell me what that means.
So to me, mindset, I thrive on being in the office and getting energy from other people, even though I'm cooped up in my office, but I do go for a walk. For popcorn walk, for coffee walk. Popcorn is a big hit for mindset.
Well, so guys, I
But
looked
mindset
yesterday.
is huge.
Mindset is huge, because as you think you will be. If you think the market sucks, for you, the market is gonna suck. If you think no one's getting listings out there, you're not gonna get a listing. If you think, woe is me, the world's, the sky's falling, for you, the sky's falling. Your mindset is everything. So I looked up yesterday, we are not number one in total productivity right now. The office up here in Alpharetta is for gross sales, because their average sales price is $100,000 higher than ours. But we're number one in number of listings. Is that a good category to be in?
Yes.
That's huge. Number one in Metro Atlanta for total number of listings, and closed units. Why is that a big one?
We're getting paid.
It means that we're doing more business than anyone else is doing right now. Now, I don't bring that up to say, Jay, man, you're amazing the way you lead this office, but that's not true, because it's not about me, it's about all of you all, the staff that's here, it's about our coaches, et cetera, et cetera. But I want you to know that if we are leading right now, if we're leading, if we're selling more than anybody else is, and we're still having trouble with this market, because it's a tough market, does that tell you others are struggling also? Yes. Does that tell you they may be struggling more than we are right now? Does that tell you that they may not be profitable right now? That tells all of that, right? So guys, I tell you that not to brag about the office, because guys, I have not sold a house in a few years. So I tell you that to let you know that if our business is down 30% from last year, 30%, that means everyone else's business is also what? Down. All right, so guys, let's take a minute and let's talk about what reality is right now. And this is at the end of May. So guys, back in 2016, in May of 2016, there were 14,949 listings in Metro Atlanta. That's 17 counties.
2016?
216, yes, sir.
What's that number
We
again?
call it a normal market.
14,000.
14, almost 15,000 listings. Last year, 2019, there were 14,510 listings. 14,510. Someone tell me how many listings we have right now in Metro Atlanta. Eric?
10,000 less.
Yeah,
About
4,700.
Close.
So, yeah.
We have 5,657 listings. So guys, if you're out there, Jim, I'm having the toughest time getting a listing right now. Can't buy one. Is there a reason for that? Because people are not doing what right now? They're not selling their houses. Now, but what that also tells me is that 5,657 agents got a listing last month. So why did they get a listing? We did not get, it's the question. They're outstripping us evidently, right, Ron?
Yep.
Or you're not doing your phone call for some reason, because people are getting listings, that's what this says. All right, let's look at number of pendings. What are pendings? What does that mean? About to close or under contract, okay, exactly right. In the normal market of 2016, there are 9,722 pending listings, okay? In 2019, there were 8,415. What do you think the current pending or pending May is right now? That's 5,700 pendings. Actually, percentage-wise, we may be selling a few more right now, percentage-wise, than they did in 16 or 19. The guys, you wonder, why don't I have more closings right now? Why is that? Because the number of closings are what? Down. They're down. Okay. Month supply. What does that mean? It's taking this many months to sell everything we have right now. So remember the 15,000 listings active listings in 2016, there was a 2.8 month supply of listings. In 2019, there was a 2.5 month supply of listings. Right now it is 1.6, which means we can sell all of our listings in how many months? About a month and a half, right? Month and a half, we can sell all of our listings. Median sales price, I love this one. Median sales price. Someone guess what the median sales price was in 2016? 255. Very, very. She's been studying her statistics. In 2019, what do you think it was?
365.
Close, the cigar. 300,000. 300,000. Guess what it is right now? 453,000. Has it gone up?
Yes. Yes, first time home buyers, oh my gosh.
Can you give me again those three numbers, or it wasn't?
They're all, where are all these, Kimberly?
Chartmasters.
What should, they're all, which number do you want though?
2019.
2019 for month supply?
No, the average price of the house.
Average price was 255 in 16, 319, and 453 now.
Yeah.
So those people on CNN, Fox, CBS, whatever you want to pick, that goes, the sellers are getting ready to lose all their equity in their houses. They're idiots. That's not happening, guys. Why is that?
So that's on this exact point, last week, and I'm harping on this, but let me tell you, it's so important. We, at script practice last week, we pulled up, right? How many houses between $400,000 and $600,000 in East Cobb, Hope, Lassiter, Walton, right? And I think I had Sprague, right? There was 13 properties, okay?
Yeah.
We went back just 1 month, or 60 days, I went back. How many are pending, under contract, and have closed? It was 187, okay? So 187 people were getting over the threshold, right? Just at this particular point, there's only 13. So the end of the world's not happening, and you need to explain to these buyers, this house you're buying today, that's 500,000. Let me give you some perspective. Go back 5 years ago, like Jim just did. That same house was $250,000. Just make your payment. You can't save up $250,000 through your W-2 paycheck. Just get a piece of the rock, right? And give them perspective of where it was and where they are and what happens over a 5-year period in real estate. Goes up. So these are the conversations, because this is what people are thinking about. They're hearing, oh, there's only 5,000 properties for sale. Well, there's 5,000, but guess what? There's another 5,000 that got across the threshold. So that's 10,000 properties that there's an opportunity with, not 5,000.
When's a good time to buy an investment property?
When you have the money.
That was a better time, but when's a good time?
When you have the money.
Right now.
Anytime's the right time to buy the right
What'd you
property.
say?
Anytime's the right time to buy the right property for the right reason.
I got one.
And I will tell you, our real partnership is looking at stuff and
She
rolling.
wants to say it, I said, she
What'd you
wants
say?
to answer.
What'd you say?
No, that's fine. I said that what the script that I always use with my buyers is when is the best time for me to purchase it now? When you have the money ready to do it.
Exactly right, yes. And is there plenty of money to lend right now, Jeff?
Yes.
Plenty of money to lend?
Yes, sir. Buckets
Hey
up.
guys, let's look at this and we're gonna look at a couple steps and we're gonna move on, okay? Failed listings. And why would I tell you about failed listings? Virginia, why would I talk about failed listings?
Because you don't wanna make those mistakes.
That's exactly right, guys. So back in May of 16, 22.7% of listings failed, which what does failed mean? They did not sell. In 2019, it was 24.8%. What do you think it is now? Higher or lower?
Higher.
It's
higher.
lower, 20.6. So guys, as you look out there, what I just told you, what does that tell you about the market right now? Rusty, what does it tell you?
It tells me that it's tight, but if people are doing it, I should be able to do it too. Because nobody was selling anything, and nothing was moving, because that would be doing, but that many properties, someone's doing something better than I am.
Oh, someone doing something better than I am. Well stated, well stated. Okay, I like that. All right, okay, what else does it tell you?
So having been in the business a long time and have seen many different markets, I'm gonna admit that this is different, and so what we should be doing is doubling down and tripling down. We talk to most of the experienced high producers in this office, and they'll tell you that their business is down. And I'm talking about people with cheese, who have more legs and arms than I as a single agent have. And so we have to double down.
But it's skill, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
It's a
Yeah.
skill-based market. Yvette and I were talking yesterday. She has a listing, a potential listing, and she's in competition. You didn't get it,
No,
but you were bold, right? She wasn't gonna take it overpriced.
no, this is my first time thanks to him that he recommended me to do that. I mean, I told him that I really want to take this listing. I really want it like that bad. But I really want to have the listing on my inventory, on my list that I will sell. I don't want to do again the same mistake that I did a few months ago, which it cost me a lot of money to maintain that listing, and I know it that I will not be able to sell. And this one hurts because it's only like a $15,000 different from my price and the other agent gave. That's why he decided to go with the other agent. The good thing is
He got what he wanted to hear.
Yes.
He's not gonna get across the finish line.
Yes.
Because even the price I gave you was high.
Yes.
I'm going to do some things, okay? Will I take over practice right now?
Yes. It just depends on how overpriced.
Right.
Yeah, it depends. If they got to move to Chicago by August, I would take over price list. Why is that?
Motivation.
Right. Motivation.
If they look at you and go, guess what, buddy, Mrs. and I love this house, you can sell it for $500,000 over list price, I'll sell my house, but if not, we're gonna stay here until we die. Next.
That's what we got.
If they say, I gotta be someplace, if that's a motivation, I'd take the damn, you say, you know something? I hear what you're saying, I think it's gonna be too high, but if you get that price, I'll be your biggest cheerleader, I will love it. But in 1 week, we don't have a contract, that's what we're gonna do. You sign right here.
Or if they moved out of the house.
Move
right?
out of the house.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we don't care. I'm like, yeah, you do care. I'll rent it. I'm like, let's see how that goes.
Exactly right. Yeah. Wait till you have your first person that does not make payments.
Or ruin the house, trash your house.
Your house, or burns it down. All right, guys, very quickly, then we're gonna move on to a couple more things, and we're out of 11 o'clock. All right, so, yearly trend analysis, how does last year compare to this year, okay? I'm gonna do these quickly, and these are all online, guys, we're gonna run down, okay? Last year we had active listings 4,900, this year we've got 5,600, almost 5,700, okay? Number of pennies, last year we had 7,200, this year we've got 5,700, pennies are down. Number sold, last year 5,162, this year 3,598.
What month?
May.
May.
May to May, that's what I show. Failed listings, 13% last year, this year 21%. Original list price, last year was $450, this year is $465. Median, last year $460, this year $454. That's a very interesting statistic, guys. Look at that one. Look at that one. And median days in the market last year was 8, this year 15. Condos are very similar, so I'm not going to talk about that. Okay. All right, so guys, but I told you all several weeks ago that in arguably the best market we ever had was 2020, 2021. Arguably, why was that arguably the best market we've ever had?
Everything was too straight.
What? What's that?
What they paid for.
Thanks to COVID.
Yeah.
And
You gotta
rates
listen.
are-
Boom, it's gone.
COVID.
Gone.
Thank you, COVID.
Yet during that time, and we have the highest cap rate in the Rawls Group, one of the highest in the whole Southern region. 70% of our agents do not cap. 70%, and capping is $1.7 million in sales, and that's about 45,000. Is that number correct? And guys, respectfully, $45,000 is not going to make you rich. So guys, that doesn't mean that you can get you to $45,000 a month. So guys, there's a lot of you out there right now that are feeling the pinch of, oh my God, my business is down. It's hard. I missed the last 2 listings I should have gotten. I missed them. I used to not get them. I thought we had this agent coming here this week, and all of a sudden she got found out. She keeps doing well. How could you go there and miss me? It's not possible, because I'm fabulous. So guys, anyway, so I feel your pain that way, but guys, I know what's out there right now. Are there fewer listings to be had right now?
Yes.
That's the right show. Are there fewer houses closing right now?
Yes.
Yes. Is all that real?
Yes.
Okay, guys, so the question is, why aren't we the ones getting the listings that are out there right now? Why aren't we getting them?
Because we're not working as hard.
Why are we getting?
Oh, why are we?
Why are we?
We're working harder.
Because we're
He was
doing the
talking that way.
activity.
Because what?
We're doing the activity.
We're doing activities, okay? Some people activity, and what we do is, I'm gonna pick on our friend, I go to our friend and say, my business is down, how's yours? Oh my God, my business is down also. In the market, oh God, just Jim, the market is awful, I hate it. Jim, there are no listings out, nobody's getting any business, Jim, it's just awful. I'm not doing anything. Or I go to a Liddy, her business is up. I go, my business is up. Or Shelley's, or pick one, pick somebody, certainly back there. So guys, go to find somebody whose business is actually up right now and say, tell me what you're doing differently. Quit going to the people whose business is down and say, oh, by the way, Jim, open houses don't work. Well, I do them every single weekend, and they work for me. Let me tell you how they work for me. So guys, number one, quit listening to people that are telling you, oh, the market sucks bad. And they're out there everywhere right now. That's why Jim spends so much time talking to you like this, because I want you to know that what you're being told is it's a really dirty word. It's a lie. You got to figure which word that was. I won't tell you. But it's not a really dirty one. It's one that sounds like a dirty one. Anyway, guys, so quit going there. Number one, okay? Number two, okay? In this office, every single day, we have something to help you increase your business. Every single day. Paige Morgan last week had a class on what? Open houses.
Yeah.
We have 8 people there. How many people think an open house right now would help boost their business?
Absolutely.
100%, 100%. We're not doing open houses, but you know what to do. I called one agent, they told me, well, they call 200 agents. Until you find one that'll say, sure, do an open house. Go online and find who's got a vacant house and go sit there on Sunday. Now, you get something this Sunday? Maybe not. But guys, go find the people that are being productive and talk. That's the first thing. Okay, number 2, classes here. Every single day there's a class. The script class. Why is that important, Rob?
It's just sharpening the knife, sharpening your skills. Because the conversations we're all having are harder conversations, and you have to overcome their perception, but this is not what they do every day.
Did you ever have a conversation with yourself this week?
Yes, I have.
Tell us a little bit about that. His mindset.
I have a listing that I recommended a certain price on and a range, and the day before we went live, he chose to tell me that we were going at it at a different price. And even with all the stats and everything else that we've done, so I amended the listing agreement to state that it was outside the target zone of where our pricing recommendation is, and they did sign it, and we have sat with our and so we are taking price adjustments.
Yeah, this is a strong agent. She's small, but she is tough. I mean, she'll come after you. She just might get in your face saying that is a bad decision. Why are you doing that? And here are the reasons. She'll give you the reason. And her son goes to Georgia Tech. I can't even spell Georgia Tech. You guys, so just realize, guys, there's great agents out there having a tough time getting things over the line. This one, Charlie, with Fizz Post. You will. So guys, just realize that you're getting out scripted sometimes, which I totally get. So guys, come to one of our classes, come to scripted classes, and even though you think, what am I gonna learn there? I mean, Ignite. Great people in Ignite every single week teaching how to get a listing, how to do a listing, how to get a buyer presentation. You guys, y'all not showing up for that stuff. Now, you guys are here this morning, I preach to the choir, y'all the ones that show up. Yes, ma'am.
I think one of the, when we're getting listing, I think one of the important script, like your client, for example, what they hear all the time is no listings, there are no listings.
Right.
But that's
Yeah.
all they hear because other agents are calling them and saying, there are no listings, if you put your house on the market, you sell it in 1 day. Well, the sentence really, and that's part of our script is, there are no listings as long as you price your house in a competitive price and your conditions are great. And the conditions great. So that message, we need to push on. And unfortunately, like I have, oh, well, he sold it for $200,000 more. Yeah, but you, Mr. Seller, didn't update your kitchen, that was worth $200,000. So that, I think that's the toughest thing that I see right now, is that there's no inventory, therefore, we're gonna just up our price.
My last two listing appointments, they all wanted to list $100,000.
Did you follow up and see if any other agent took it?
I'm still chatting with them.
Oh.
They're not signing with anybody yet.
That's what I was wondering.
That's the impression of, because that's exactly what they said, but there's nothing on the market. It still doesn't mean somebody's gonna pay way overvalued.
Well, and then it's gotta appraise,
Well,
so you've
yeah.
gotta say,
Yeah.
I've gotta be able to
Appraisal gap,
support
right.
the appraisal.
And that's the piece I told them
You know.
both, is I'll have a professional, you don't have to take my valuation, I will pay to have it professionally appraised and we go from there. That's what we're asking. It's a battle, you need to price it right.
I have one of them too. We did the pre-listing appraisal. He argued with them that it's still wrong. And that was the company that came here. I said, look, I work with $1 million agents and they use these people. Why are you arguing with yours, which is 500, 480? So he argued with that. He still argued with the price I recommended him to list it on. He did get over asking offers, but it was a cash buy. If it wasn't a cash buy, he would not have got that money, and we still had to reduce it. So in the end, we still came back to almost what I recommended in the beginning.
Right.
Yeah, right.
And I just think that sometimes, like Rusty, like in your situation is, sometimes you can talk to the wall and the wall will understand that better.
Yeah.
So I just don't waste my time and I move on, unfortunately. I mean, yeah, being in touch with them, but they.
Like Jim said, if they were a have to sell, totally different.
There's no.
I take it, let them learn their lesson.
Yeah, yeah.
But these aren't. So you're just kind of either roll the dice or let it go, and I've learned not to roll the dice.
That's why motivation and asking those questions and being really comfortable at asking three deep questions about motivation is so important.
Well, motivation also works for you all.
Mm-hmm.
Motivation works for you all. Because, I mean, all you gotta do is to make a sale, if you make a sale, great, if you don't, it's okay. I'll be fine, I have enough. I'm okay with that, whatever your situation is, okay, guys. If you're motivated to pay for child surgery because that child needs a surgery, you're gonna be a little more motivated. So motivation works for you also.
I don't know if this is spiteful or ingenious, but I would circle prospect and door knock around that listing and get another listing that's priced correctly. So I'm in the neighborhood and then send a postcard out to the neighbors once it goes under contract to let them know.
Motivation.
Let's have some fun. Tell me, hold your hand with me if you door knocked at another house in the past month. Look at that, guys. Does door knocking work? We're gonna find out next week. tell them what you're gonna do next week, guys. I will not be here, by the way. I will be with my grandsons in Universal. Pray for me.
Next week, we'll be talking about the joys and pitfalls of doing nothing.
And this room should be so overflowing that people are like, wow. But when people think, I'm going off that didn't work. You know what didn't work? When you don't do it. Ask Ricky Brown. Ask the vet. Ask them if door knocking works. Friend, does door knocking work?
Absolutely.
That's what you, only time it doesn't work is when you don't do it. You don't get on there and do it. Well, I don't know what to say. Well, then come to Chris practice, learn what to say. Guys, at some point in the near future, and this is, by the way, has anybody ever been in the 40? Not 40 years.
I'm not old.
Huh?
Yeah. I was gonna say, open houses, this year, I'm under contract with someone that came into one of my open houses. You're working with somebody that came into an open house that has chosen to work with her, and I also have another person that has signed a buyer agency agreement from an open house. So if you guys are not doing open houses, and that's within the past 4 weeks.
You got the fewer house I'm living right now?
Yes.
That's a great excuse, isn't it? It's great.
Just
That's
need
great.
one.
Hey, guess what, Rob? I'm not doing it because aren't enough of them happy with you called and asked me to do one for them. Well, nobody, but then how you know there's not enough right now? How do you know? If I call Clark, say, Clark, can I hold up in your open house that's, have an open house for you, that vacant house? He'd say, sure, go ahead, it's vacant, go for it. So guys, get out there and do something different right now. Come to this class next week where she's gonna tell you how to door knock. Door knocking would scare the living daylights out of me because I never done one. But is it that hard? Once you do it?
No.
So guys, if you keep doing the same activities, you won't have the same results. There's no change. But I'm gonna tell you, sometime in the next, I'm gonna say 6 to 12 months, rates are gonna be in the 5s. And when it does, all of a sudden, it's also gonna, you know, something, I got 3%, but I could probably live with a 5% rate. So I'm probably okay with that rate. So I'm gonna go ahead and sell my house because I've been wanting to get rid of it because I've got 10,000 square feet out there. And I want to be in a small house. The buyers that say, you know, this 2-bedroom house we've been in, we've got 4 kids, we need an extra bathroom.
So Jim, you're saying it's okay to meet those people now?
I'm telling you, build your database right now.
Yeah, get a game plan.
And get it, because you're gonna look down and go, well, I recognize that house. Oh my God, that's my best friend's house, they go sleep with Karen. How did that happen? Because you didn't call. You didn't call, Karen did. So guys, build your database right now. Get ready, when the market explodes, and it's gonna explode, guys, I'm telling you, it's gonna explode. It has to. Why does it have to explode right now? Someone tell me why. How's the job market in Atlanta, Georgia? How is it? One of the best in the whole country.
Low unemployment.
How are the businesses that come in here? How are they? Best in the whole country. Yes, ma'am.
Many of my first time buyers that were buying in below 200 are now rebuying in 500.
Yeah, exactly right, yeah. So you guys get out there and be working as hard as you can work right now, because it may not pay off today. Some of your work so far right now, I know you are, and I feel your pain. You're out there, you're doing the activities, and you're not getting, because eventually that little seed you put in the ground is gonna explode. So guys, get out there, do the extra, it takes more work right now than it's taken before to get them to the certain fields of that. But guys, get up right now, do that, build your database, keep calling, keep doing stuff, do the house, do all that stuff, do all that stuff, somehow it's gonna come. And they're gonna look at you and sharpen. You're so lucky. I'm not lucky, I've been working my butt off for the past several months, so it's very little show for it. A lot of us are thinking that way right now. So guys, get out there and do your job, and if you do, when the market does explode, it's gonna explode. You'll be the benefit, also you'll have 10 listings. And guys, last but not least, if you're like, Jim, how can I get to the next step? I'm not getting there. Guys, we have got a coaching program here. I mean, go see Rob, he'll coach you. Go see Arthur Williams, she'll coach you guys. Some of our coaches that are here will coach with you until you have a closing and get paid to close. So if they don't get you to do more business, guess what happens? They get paid zero. But if they get you to activities that make you more responsible, guess what? It gets you more profitable. You both get it, because you both get to You guys doing nothing right now is not what you do. All right, anything that I didn't talk about out there? So someone asked you to go house to market. What would you say?
Great.
Interesting, why do you ask?
Interesting, why do you ask? So that's what you guys, anyway, anything else we can talk about, Kim, did I forget anything? So guys, last but not least, they mentioned Mega Camp. Mega Camp is in August, I don't know the exact date, middle of August, look it up.
15, 16,
15 to
17, if you wanna just hang out.
Guys, you will be there with some of the biggest thinkers in our whole company. And it'll cost you $1,000, $1,500 to go, and a lot of them don't have a thought, I get that right now, guys. But find it someplace and go, I wanna invest in myself, because if you go to Mega Camp and you go to classes, you will come back to me and say, what you look like picked up there. So guys, please consider going to Mega Camp. It may be one of the best things that you did. The first time I went, now I understand why I'm leaves. Not good, I understand, I'm gonna think about it. Good, guys, it's past 11 o'clock. Please enjoy your day and thank you for coming and attending. Enjoy your day, everybody. Thank you. Yes,
Yes.
and Reed, good job.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Yes.